Part 101. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1001. Xiaoxian. There is no section. Xiaoxian shook his head. He didn't have a good impression of King Glay Palace at first. But today, when facing the captain of the escort team of the city lord's mansion in front of him, he was unwilling to involve the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. After all, killing Lei Wan was ultimately something he did alone. This time, the captain of the escort team was a little embarrassed. To be honest, his duty is to maintain the peace of Wanlong City. It is definitely against the rules for Xiaoxian to kill others at will. But now, I want to cause trouble for Xiaoxian. It doesn't seem that simple. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but hesitate. Captain Zhang, this Xiaoxian committed crimes at will in Wanlong City and deserves to be punished. Captain Zhang, please arrest Xiaoxian. Yes, Xiaoxian should be arrested. Let Xiaoxian die. It took a long time for the disciples of King Glay Palace to react. Their protector Lewin. Was he really killed by Xiaoxian? This really made him a little unbelievable, but they also knew that even Lei Wan was defeated by Xiaoxian. If they still want to take the initiative, that is really seeking death. On the other hand, if Zhang Feng, the guard of the city lord's palace, could be persuaded to take action, perhaps it would be a good thing for them. At least, Zhang Feng, who has 8 stars in the Blue God realm, takes action. Wouldn't it be easy to capture Xiaoxian? But really speaking, these are their wishful thinking, nothing more, but Zhang Feng standing next to them looked at them coldly. Take down Xiaoxian. This is for the disciples of King Glay Palace. It's just a matter of words. But it was different for him. Xiaoxian was only a 2nd star in the Kangshen realm, so it was not difficult to capture him. If some means are used, it is not impossible to kill him in public. However, what he has to consider is what will happen if he takes action to capture Xiaoxian. Play around with what big sect is standing behind Xiaoxian. Wouldn't he also be involved? The punishment is not as good as that of a doctor, and the courtesy is not as good as that of a common man. This is in Wanlong City. It is a secret that is not open to the public. For a talented disciple like Xiaoxian, it is very likely that there is support from a large number of sects behind him. Even if Zhang Feng wanted to take action, he would never make a killing move. This brother. Why don't you go to the city lord's mansion with me, the captain? Zhang Feng hesitated for a moment and said to Xiaoxian, if you can trust me, the captain, the city lord's palace can give you leniency. Hear this. Xiaoxian looked up at Zhang Feng again. He could roughly tell that the guard captain of the city lord's mansion in front of him seemed a little hesitant. Want to do something to him? But I can't seem to make up my mind. This really surprised him, but then he understood. Even the city lord's mansion. Facing a cultivator who can casually kill a 5-star Kangshen realm cultivator, he would probably hesitate a little. Who can know? Is there no stronger sect behind him? Now it seems that the city lord's mansion is not truly unscrupulous in Wanlong City. Good. Since Zhang Feng took the initiative to step down for him, there was no need for Xiaoxian to say anything more, he just nodded slightly, which was regarded as agreement with his words. On the other hand, he also wanted to see the city lord's mansion's attitude towards this matter. Although it is said that King Glay Palace and the city lord's mansion are both powerful entities, but in Wanlong City, Xiaoxian believes that the relationship between them may not be that good. As the saying goes, one mountain cannot tolerate 2 tigers. But Xiaoxian nodded and agreed. The disciples of King Glay Palace next to them all had strange eyes. They couldn't believe that a mere Xiaoxian could be treated like this. Logically speaking, it was based on what Xiaoxian had done. Even if Zhang Feng kills him directly, also goes along with the rules. Why is Zhangfeng still so polite to Xiao Xian now? Even, let him go to the city lord's mansion? Is it possible that the city lord wants to meet Xiao Xian in person? Everyone, please retreat first. The city lord will make his own decision regarding today's matter. Zhangfeng looked around, waved his hand, and turned around and left. Seeing his actions, Xiao Xian was not surprised. He just smiled slightly and followed him. Only a group of disciples from Qinglei Palace were left behind. Looking at each other, his face was filled with anger and helplessness. In the end, I could only leave in frustration. A few days ago. On the contrary, Zhangfeng next to him had a serious face. As the guard captain, he had many more channels to get information than his guards. It is true that there are many masters, but most of them are from powerful sects. Along the way. On the contrary, Zhangfeng, who was beside him, always had a somewhat scrutinizing look in his eyes, very suspicious of Xiao Xian's identity. This brother. In Wanglong City. But after seeing Xiao Xian's strength today, he was really a little doubtful. Could it be that this news was true? The future prospects must be immeasurable. This is like a treasure for any sect. It's just good luck that he was taken seriously by Mu Lao and became the second in command. Don't dare to take it seriously. A talented disciple with such strength at such a young age. The guards were all puzzled and looked at Xiao Xian in disbelief. It is said that the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce has found a young man to be the second in command of their Chamber of Commerce. Say it. He had always thought it was a rumor. With his cautious look, if someone who didn't know saw it, they would probably think that he was the stronger one. Your name is, Xiao Xian? Did you just come to Wanglong City? I don't seem to have heard of your name before. However, I have been in the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce recently, Xiao Xian also said. This is one of the three most powerful sects in Wanglong City. How can a young man like Xiao Xian be the second in command of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce? He had actually heard the news. Xiao Xian said calmly. This was also the reason why Zhangfeng took him to the city lord's mansion. Seeing Zhangfeng's appearance, Xiao Xian's face was indifferent. Not only Zhangfeng, but also the guards of the city lord's mansion around him were shocked. Zhangfeng asked tentatively. They have naturally heard of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. It seemed that he didn't take this matter to heart at all. It was rare for strong rogue cultivators to suddenly appear, and even if there were, they would be recruited by the three major forces, City Lord's Mansion, Qinglei Palace, and Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. It's been a while since I've been here. Especially someone like Xiao Xian. Is this, impossible? Xiao Xian couldn't help but shook his head slightly. I see. Zhangfeng seemed to understand, and at the same time he breathed a sigh of relief. Master Xiao Xian is indeed young and promising. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1002. Inside the city lord's palace. Menjian looked at Zhangfeng and Xiao Xian who had arrived, with a bit of curiosity and surprise on her face. Especially when she heard about it. Xiao Xian was even more shocked after he beheaded a protector of Qinglei Palace in the street. Her impression of Xiao Xian. In fact, it was still based on Xiao Xian's victory over Xue Qinglan and Mu Shaokong. She did think that Xiao Xian should be considered a relatively talented person. But that's about it. Did not expect. Now Xiao Xian would do such a shocking thing, even kill Lei Wan at that time. Xiao Xian. Why did you kill Ravan? Menjian couldn't believe it. At this moment, the eyes looking at Xiao Xian were full of strangeness. It's nothing. However, Lei Wan hired a killer to assassinate me, so I killed him conveniently. Xiao Xian looked calm, as if he said something normal, that's all. Say it. Not only Menjian, but also all the elders from the city lord's mansion nearby looked at each other in disbelief. At this moment, it was such a prick to Xiaoxian. They were really helpless. If I really want to talk about it, Xiaoxian is now the second in command of Wanjin Merchant, and even Meng Yan, the lord of the city lord's palace, doesn't dare to do anything to him. But if we do nothing, won't it discredit the city lord's mansion? On the contrary, looking at Xiaoxian, Meng Yan really felt like a hot potato. I don't know. Does Master Meng have anything else to say? Xiaoxian didn't care. In his opinion, people like Lei Wan were not worth mentioning at all. From a certain perspective, killing him was just a matter of using his hands. Although, this guy's blue and white giant thunder caused him some trouble. But this trouble is not as big as imagined. In the end, it was resolved successfully. As for the city lord's mansion, Xiaoxian didn't have to worry anymore. He had already roughly figured out that the city lord's mansion was just an ordinary sect. Although it has the title of city lord's mansion. But in terms of strength. In other words, they are on the same level as Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and Qinglei Palace, and no one of the three sects can do anything to the other. Under this delicate balance, his rash killing of Lei Wan was not necessarily a bad thing for them. On the contrary, by doing this, he weakened the strength of Qinglei Palace, and maybe this was something the city lord's palace wanted to see. Don't tell me, Xiaoxian, you haven't thought about the consequences. Menjian was a little helpless and just said, once the Qinglei Palace finds out that it was you who killed Lei Kong, not only you, but also the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will be implicated. For these words, Xiaoxian, on the other hand, didn't care. He also generally knew that if Feng Lixin, the master of Qinglei Palace, was a smart person, he would not involve the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce in this matter. The reason is simple. The strength of the three parties in Wanglong City is intertwined. If the Qinglei Palace and the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce turn against each other, or even fight, it will probably be a lose-lose situation in the end. And the one who wins in the end, there is no doubt that it is the city lord's mansion. It is impossible for Feng Lixin not to know this truth. And now, Menjian looked embarrassed on the surface, but in her heart she wished that Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and Qinglei Palace would fight. This way they can reap the benefits. This is also the reason why she has not dealt with Xiaoxian now. As the former head of the Xiao family, Xiaoxian also saw all this clearly. He knew that under such circumstances, the best choice for the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce was to find an ally to cooperate with. The city lord's mansion may be a good choice. In Wanglong City, if Wanjin Chamber of Commerce wants to become the biggest and strongest, the best way is to find a naturally loyal ally. Now, he kills Liwen. Already at odds with the Qinglei Palace, there is no possibility of cooperation between the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the Qinglei Palace. Then if the city lord's palace can agree to cooperate with him, Wanjin Chamber of Commerce may have an excellent opportunity to rise. Master Meng Palace, if you listen to my suggestion, it would be better for us to have some cooperation. Seeing Meng Yan's hesitation, Xiaoxian understood what she was thinking and said directly, if the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce cooperates with the city lord's palace, wouldn't it mean that he, Qinglei Palace, has no way to survive? The people present were shocked for a moment. Even Meng Yan looked at him in disbelief, as if looking at an evil star. If you put these words outside, I'm afraid it will cause an uproar in an instant. Qinglei Hall is located in Wanglong City. It is indeed just one of the three major forces. However, behind the Qinglei Palace, stood the Qinglei Palace. If the city lord's mansion and the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce take sides, it means that they will become enemies with the Qinglei Palace and even the Qinglei Palace. This is for them definitely not a good thing. From this point of view, Menjian naturally has to think carefully about the future of her sect. With this suggestion of yours, Could it be that you want to bring about the destruction of our city lord's mansion? Zhang Feng said in a bad tone. Don't you know that standing behind the Qinglei Palace is the Qinglei Palace, a behemoth on this continent? Of course I know. Are you afraid? Xiao Xian asked. You. Zhang Feng was speechless for a moment. On the giant continent of Eastern Wasteland, Qinglei Palace is a huge section. I am afraid that no sect is not afraid of it. But in front of so many disciples, it was impossible for him to say the word fear. He originally just wanted to rescue Lord Menjian from the siege. Now, there is a feeling of riding a tiger with a hard time getting off. Xiao Xian, are you speaking on behalf of Wanjin merchant? It was Menjian who stood up with cold eyes. Could it be that you have offended the Qinglei Palace and are worried that the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will not be able to solve it for you, so you want to drag people from our city lord's palace to bury you with you? Under fierce words, the disciples of the city lord's mansion also cast unkind glances at Xiao Xian. On the other hand, Xiao Xian himself, with a smile on his face, said nonchalantly, to be honest, killing Lei Wan this time will be an excellent opportunity for the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the city lord's mansion. Appreciate further details. You can just imagine, if Qinglei Palace gets help from Qinglei Palace in the future, will it still be so tolerant to Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the city lord's mansion? When the time comes, I'm afraid they will use the most violent means to deal with you. The Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the city lord's mansion are both prosperous and devastated. This is the biggest crisis. Xiao Xian looked around. These words are sonorous and powerful. For a time, everyone in the city lord's mansion was also shocked. Even Menyan had a solemn look on her face, thinking seriously about Xiao Xian's words. In fact, over the years, she has realized that Qinglei Palace is backed by Qinglei Palace and has been encroaching on the forces in Wanlong City. Obviously, he also has wolfish ambitions. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1003. At this moment, Xiao Xian and Menyan were also playing a psychological game. They are both betting that the other party will do what they want. Think about it before and after. In the end, Menjian couldn't hold her breath anymore. She knew that although Xiao Xian said it bluntly, it was also the truth. She wanted to explain, but she didn't know how to explain. Have to say. What you said makes sense. Menjian still didn't calm down. Hearing this, Xiao Xian also showed a smile on his lips. He knew that if even Menjian agreed with him, it would mean that the entire city lord's palace would agree with his words. In this case, maybe what's needed in the end won't be that complicated. Thinking of this, Xiao Xian also continued, so, in other words, Master Meng Palace has agreed to the conditions I mentioned. Say it. Menyan and other people in the city lord's mansion also fell silent. They all also knew that part of the reason why Xiao Xian sought cooperation with the city lord's mansion must be to seek safety. But for the city lord's mansion, this is actually an opportunity. If the cooperation with the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is successful and the Qinglei Palace is suppressed, this will naturally be a good thing. You can definitely take this opportunity in the future. Let the power of their city lord's palace flourish and get more resources and blood. However, if this cooperation fails, then things will be different, and the city lord's mansion may be involved in this crisis like the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. It can be said. This is an extremely important choice. After thinking about this, Menjian's face still became more solemn. Now that things have reached this point, I still have some worries. Xiao Xian, can you represent the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce? Certainly. As the master of the city lord's palace, Master Meng is naturally well informed. It's impossible not to know that I am now the second in command of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, right? Xiao Xian smiled. After his attitude came out, the people next to me also looked a little embarrassed. In fact, as the head of the city lord's mansion, Menjian naturally cannot be an incompetent person. After having such a status. Want to know what news? It's not difficult. Even, sometimes this is just a matter of words. Therefore, it is impossible for Menjian not to know Xiao Xian's current status. In the beginning, Menjian did have doubts, thinking that Xiao Xian was just a disciple who had just joined the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. How could he have such great power and such a high status? But now, most of them understood it. It does make sense for Wanjin Chamber of Commerce to do this. Apart from anything else, just relying on the vision of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce Mu Lao Shi, it is definitely not something that ordinary people can have. Of course I know this. It's just that I don't know if your position is a false one. After hearing what Xiao Xian said, Menjian's face became a little more curious. This suspicion was not only hers, but also the other disciples of the city lord's mansion, all looked at Xiao Xian with curiosity on their faces. They didn't know whether Xiao Xian had real power in his hands. However, Xiao Xian didn't care at all about their doubts. On the contrary, he could understand them completely. He knows. The city lord's mansion can be considered a large sect. He has a profound foundation and is as strong as a forest. As a woman, Menjian has been able to manage all this for so many years, so her ability must not be weak. Under such circumstances, of course, no one needs to say more. She must also know how to lead this team. But now, after hearing these words, she was still a little curious, and wanted to find out what Xiao Xian's current status was. Rest assured, I can still make a decision on this matter. Xiao Xian is full of confidence. After saying this, the faces of the people next to him became a little more dignified, and then they all looked at Xiao Xian seriously. Obviously, Xiao Xian's words were not very convincing. It doesn't matter. If you don't believe it, you can ask Mu Lao to say this now, and maybe you will believe it. Xiao Xian said directly. Say it. The people in the city lord's mansion were a little stunned. None of them expected that Xiao Xian could be so straightforward and move out of Malao Temple directly. No doubt. Mulo Kangfeng is the backbone of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. If he can show up and show Xiao Xian's status, it will naturally be a very honorable thing. It can even be proven. Xiao Xian is indeed a very capable person. If the request is not too excessive, he can still agree to it. After saying this, but Xiao Xian is also willing to see what demands the city lord's mansion can make. Face the person in front of you. There was a bit of a smile on Mu Lao's face. As people get older, their reactions are not so fast. If anything happens, Sect Master Meng can communicate with Xiao Xian. He is the second in command of our section. Oh. Xiao Xian simply nodded before continuing. To be honest, if there are other requirements, what is needed in the end may not be that simple. Xiao Xian's answer was also very quick. Through this matter, Menjian and others also looked a little embarrassed. Master Xiao Xian, please stay in my city lord's mansion for a little longer today. Okay, Menyan said politely. Go and ask for it, Mr. Mu will offer it to you, Menjian said to a sect disciple. For Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Moreover, he still insisted on asking Malao to offer sacrifices at this time, just because he wanted to use Xiao Xian to kill people. He knew very well that as far as the current situation was concerned, the only way to completely dispel the doubts of the people in the city lord's mansion was to ask Mu Lao to come forward. You still need to make a decision on this matter today. Ask Wanjin Chamber of Commerce for some benefits. In fact, Xiao Xian's words just hit the hearts of everyone in the city lord's mansion. Menjian and others still have to be somewhat wary. Yes, this disciple did not dare to neglect and left in a hurry. At this time, not long after, in the city lord's palace, everyone's faces were full of surprise. Malao Zonfang came with some disciples from the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Speaking of which, for this, none of them expected that Mulao Zonfeng could actually say such a thing, and even say it in front of so many people? Good. If Mulao Zonfeng can really stand up and even help Xiaoxian prove his identity, it will prove that he is indeed extraordinary. The reason why they want to see Malao worship. Therefore, Xiaoxian is also very confident. He believes that if nothing happens, Mulao Zonfang will agree to his suggestion. Cooperating with the city lord's mansion is indeed a good choice. In order to show her attitude, Menjian also took the initiative to step forward and said, "Mr. Mu, you are finally here. He is very likely to become the strongest person in the sect in the future. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors." Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1004. All of a sudden, Menyan and the others were also a little solemn. They originally thought that what Xiaoxian said before was just bragging, but now with Mu Lao's words, they have to face it seriously. Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. This is the most powerful chamber of commerce in Wanlong City. Even in several regions of the Eastern Barren Continent, it is still very influential. Not to mention, Wanjin Chamber of Commerce now controls almost all auctions, chambers of commerce, exchanges, and even black market trade in Wanlong City. Assets exceed tens of millions. If I want to compete with the strength between the three sects in Wanlong City, Qinglei Palace, City Lord's Mansion and Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, there may still be differences. But if we want to say who has the most assets, then it is undoubtedly the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. It can even be said that if the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is willing to devote all its resources to cultivating a person, then this person will definitely be outstanding in the future. Even if it's a pig, they can train this pig into a strong man in the little golden god realm. This sentence was said by Malao Zonfang himself back then, so the credibility is still very high. Similarly, it is precisely because of this sentence. It caused countless disciples in Wanlong City to actively join the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Regrettably, for such a long time, Wanjin Chamber of Commerce seems to have not found the son of destiny they need. But things are different now. Judging from the way Mu Lao worshipped, it seemed that he thought Xiaoxian was the talented disciple who could create miracles. Oh, Malao Mu, we are both the masters of the section. This is the first time I have seen you talking like this in so many years. It seems that you, the old man, have great confidence in Xiaoxian. Menjian watched Mu Lao worship with interest. What she said was true. Malao Zongzong is also a mature man, so he can naturally tell that Menjian's words are obviously a cliché. But for these words, he didn't bother to explain more. On the way here, he had already roughly understood what Xiaoxian had done. After hearing the news that Xiaoxian killed Lei Wan, his first reaction was not anger, but joy. At that time, the reason why he recruited Xiaoxian was because he had the heroic aura that no one was afraid of. Be honest. Although Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is a major sect in Wanlong City, but over the years, their sect has become sluggish. Both the elders and the disciples have a mentality of not making progress. This is something Mu Lao doesn't want to see. Xiaoxian was able to kill Lei Wan, the protector of Qinglei Palace. On the one hand, it could weaken the strength of Qinglei Palace, and on the other hand, it proved that he was indeed a capable person. And Qinglei Palace has always been targeting the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Although Malao Zonfeng was angry about this, he did not find a chance to retaliate. Today, Xiaoxian's operation happened. It also allowed him to take revenge. More importantly, If what Xiaoxian did today can lead to cooperation between the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the City Lord's Mansion, then the future will be a good thing. They could even use this as an opportunity to drive away Qinglei Palace. As for the Qinglei Palace behind the Qinglei Palace, although they have considered it, it is too far away after all, and the higher level forces are also restricting each other. For so many years, Qinglei Palace did not participate in the battle in Wanglong City. This is not their pity. But for the fear of the other two forces, Qinglei Palace should also know that if they intervene, it will inevitably lead to the involvement of Juxing Pavilion and Shixia Temple. This will make the situation in Wanglong City even more complicated. No way. With all due respect, everyone has seen what Qinglei Palace has done in Wanglong City in recent years. I can't help but interfere in the affairs of our Chamber of Commerce, and it also involves the power of the City Lord's Mansion. Xiaoxian went to order the shop in Qinglei Hall, which was allowed by the enshrinement. Malao Zonfang made a surprising statement, "I don't know, what do you think of this matter?" After the words were spoken, not only the people from the City Lord's Mansion, but also the people from the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce were a little surprised, and Xiaoxian even looked surprised. He was also a little surprised. He could think that Malao Zongzong would probably speak for him on the matter of killing Lei Wan. But what he didn't expect was Malao Zonfeng could actually say such a thing? Actually supporting him so much. So, Malao Zonfeng also cares about this cooperation? This actually made Xiaoxian feel a little comforted. It seems that what he did today did not bring much trouble to Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. So to say, old worshipper, do you fully support Xiaoxian's actions? At the same time, you also support what Xiaoxian did, right? Menjian was also surprised at this moment. She could think of it. Since Xiaoxian is the second in command of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, he should have some status in the Chamber of Commerce, and Malao Zongzong will probably support him. Only. At this point, Malao Zongfang was no longer too lazy to hide anything, and just continued, "So, I think it might be better for our two families to cooperate." Say it. It fell on him, just like raindrops falling on the lake, and was gradually absorbed. Basically, everyone present knows that today's cooperation has been reached. You made a breakthrough again. Let his power continue to grow stronger. The people from the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the City Lord's Mansion also looked at each other. Master Feng. Isn't this a joke? Later, the power of these giant thunders slowly integrated into his body. The bloody storm in Wanglong City may be about to begin. For a moment, the disciples present also became nervous. After accumulating a certain amount of strength, the power of thunder and lightning actually changed. In the end, it actually caused some changes in his body. But even so, finally, he nodded at the same time. A man with a dark face and wearing a blue thunder-patterned robe was closing his eyes, letting the giant thunder from the top of the mountain hit him. The other side. The faces of Menjian and Mu Lozong were also much calmer. On top of a huge mountain with rolling thunder. Yes, what Xiaoxian said is exactly what our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce wants to say. With today's cooperation, it means that they will launch an attack on Qinglei Palace next. The wind was strong and thunder and lightning roared. Needless to say, they all saw a bit of sincerity in each other's eyes. As long as there is a fight, there may be casualties. She also didn't expect that Mu Lozong could support him so much. If a fight starts, whether it is the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce or the City Lord's Mansion, even the two people in the Xiajin God realm may be in danger. But these giant thunders are enough to kill the Kengshen realm. Not to mention them. That being the case, they are more solemn. They also generally understand. The two powerful men in the realm of the little golden god reached a willingness to cooperate, and the ordinary disciples of the two sects naturally had nothing else to say. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1005. On the top of the mountain. Fen Lishan slowly opened his eyes. Waves of thunder appeared in the pupils. Good. However, it can only be said that it is just a pseudo-golden god realm, and it has not truly understood the true path of the golden god realm. Fen Lishan shook his head. But there was an obvious arrogance in his eyes. Obviously, he is very confident about his current state. The realm of the pseudo-golden god, is this powerful enough? Several of the guardians of the Kingley Palace looked at each other with fear in their eyes. A step far. As long as I understand the true way of thunder and lightning, I will be able to achieve the true golden god realm. When the time comes, it won't be a bad idea to enter the Kingley Palace. Fen Lishan's eyes were filled with heat. This scene. It actually made the guardians next to him jealous. To them, though, they are now considered to be the upper echelons of Kingley Palace. But there is still a longing for Kingley Palace in my heart. They know. If you want to take a step further on the road of cultivation, you must enter the Kingley Palace, where the real way of thunder and lightning can be found. But Fen Lishan looked around. However, he found that one of the 4 original guardians of Kingley Palace was missing, which made him a little unhappy. Is it possible that he practiced in seclusion? Is there someone in Kingley Palace who doesn't respect him enough? For a moment, several people looked at each other with a bit of confusion on their faces. Is it, Lewin? He should be managing the shop, but he should also know that the palace master is out of town today. He shouldn't not come. Is it possible that the store is in trouble? Several guardians discussed. At this time, a disciple of Kingley Palace with a wound on his face hurried over, with a panicked look on his face. Something bad has happened. Palace Master, Protector Leiwan has been killed. Boom. For a moment, chi and blood surged in the heads of the senior officials of Kingley Palace. They were all shocked by these words. At the same time, everyone's faces were angry and livid. Dare to kill the protector of Kingley Palace in Wanlong City? Isn't this a direct provocation to the entire Kingley Palace? Who took action? Menjian, or Old Man Mew? A protector of the Kingley Palace was furious. What on earth are they going to do? Are they going to start a war with our Kingley Palace? This is not the 2 of them. It's a casual cultivator named Xiao Xian. This disciple was also shocked and quickly explained, now, I heard that this Xiao Xian is the second in command of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. This time, some senior people in Kingley Palace had their eyes on Fen Lishan. After all, if the person who killed Leiwan was an ordinary cultivator, they would naturally hunt him down and kill him in the end. But the person facing them now is the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Still second in command. This requires caution. If we were to pursue him, we might end up going to war with the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. This requires orders from Fen Leitiangxia, who is the master of the palace. Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. That old man Kukaki is getting more and more crazy. In that case, don't blame me for being rude. Fen Lishan's face was gloomy. The 3 guardians of Kingley Palace also had stern expressions on their faces. They knew that Fen Lishan was violent and murderous. The reason why Kingley Temple has not taken action recently is not because they have gone silent. On the contrary, it is just because he is in retreat. This time, Fen Lishan came out of seclusion, and his strength increased. Being restless, he would definitely not give up such a good offensive opportunity, but he just didn't know how he planned to do it. Palace Master, do you mean, a full-scale war? A protector asked tentatively. No. We can't just start a war. Let me try first to see how strong this Menjian is. Fen Gleitian smiled sadly. In fact, he had long coveted Menjian's beauty, but at that time they were both cultivators of the little golden god realm. He also had little confidence in pursuing it. Now that he has achieved the pseudo-golden realm, if he didn't take action at this time, wouldn't it be a waste of his long-term hard work? Thinking of this, Feng Lishan's body gradually disappeared from where he was, and in an instant, he appeared thousands of miles away. Inside the city lord's palace, Menjian sat alone in the meeting hall. She held a cup of tea in her plain white hands, with a hint of worry on her pretty face. Although at that time, she agreed to cooperate with Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. But in my heart, she was still a little worried. What she was worried about was Feng Lishan, the owner of Qinglai Temple. According to the information from the city lord's mansion, Feng Lishan had gone into seclusion a few months ago and seemed to have found some power in the golden god realm. Speak the truth. That's the news. Only then did she make up her mind to let the city lord's mansion and Wanjin Chamber of Commerce cooperate and finally reach an agreement. After all, the strength of the three companies is now in a delicate balance. If Feng Lishan becomes a master of the golden god realm, this is no simple matter. In this way, the strength of the three parties will definitely change subtly, and even the Qinglai Palace family will become the dominant one. This is not a good thing for the city lord's mansion. Just thinking about it. In the conference hall, thunder and lightning forces slowly appeared. A white ball of thunder and lightning appeared in front of Menjian. See this scene. Menjian's face instantly became serious. Feng Lei Tian. GGG, I didn't expect that Mengda sect master's reaction was very fast. I just appeared and you recognized him. Feng Lishan's body slowly walked out of the ball of light, with a sinister smile on his face. Say it. Menjian's face was solemn, and she felt that the power of thunder and lightning in Feng Lishan was stronger than before. Obviously, the latter's level has improved again. For these forces, she also had to deal with it seriously. What are you going to do? Do nothing. It's just that I haven't seen him for a long time and I want to see Master Menda, that's all. Feng Lishan had a calm look on his face, and a pale golden thunder light appeared in his hand, like a tiny flame. In response to this, Menjian's pupils shrank instantly. She could tell. Feng Lishan obviously showed off his power on purpose. If nothing else, just the power of this pale golden giant thunder is enough to show that Feng Lishan's giant thunder technique has reached the stage of great success. Menjian couldn't help but take a breath of air. Then, she also fought against Feng Lishan. A few months ago, Feng Lishan's blue and white thunder had caused her a lot of trouble. Unexpectedly, in just a few months, his thunder and lightning power had improved again. The speed of cultivation is indeed a bit exaggerated. But think about it for a moment. Menjian can also understand. Before that, Feng Lishan was also the strongest among her and Mu Lao. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1006. Seeing Menyan, she said nothing more. Feng Lishan also nodded with satisfaction. Obviously, he was quite satisfied with these situations. At last, looking at the person in front of him, he simply said directly, however, I, Feng Lei, am naturally generous and don't care about such trivial matters. As long as Sect Master Meng gives up Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and cooperates with our Qinglai Palace, I, Feng Lishan, promise that in the future, your city lord's mansion will still control the civilian forces in Wanglong City. How about that? You. A trace of doubt flashed in Menjian's eyes. In fact, she also understood that compared to the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, the strength of Qinglai Temple was obviously on a higher level. Just now, It may not be that simple to solve this matter. Regarding King Glay Temple's thoughts, it is definitely not just as simple as wanting to get Wanglong City. If they really have control of Wanglong City, they will definitely get Long Wangshu and continue to have thoughts about the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and the City Lord's Mansion. This is for sure. Even judging from what Feng Lixin has been doing these days. He even had some nasty thoughts about himself. Thinking of this, Meng Yan's face also showed a look of disgust, and she looked at Feng Lixin coldly. Master Feng Palace, what you said is a bit funny, isn't it? Why are you laughing? Your King Glay Palace is one of the strongest sects in Wanglong City, and the Lord of the Wind Palace is here, so how can you get help from our City Lord's mansion? Meng Yan simply said directly. Besides, over the years, the power of our City Lord's mansion seems not to be weak at all, right? Say it. Feng Lixin's face was obviously a little ugly. In fact, in his estimation, Meng Yan should surrender as a matter of course after seeing his strength. Even take the initiative to cooperate. Although the pseudo-golden god realm has the word pseudo in front of it. However, through practice, he also learned from it that only some powerful people in the golden god realm can understand the great path. Just rely on these avenues to understand. It is definitely not something that ordinary powerful people in the realm of little golden god can fight against. But what Feng Lixin didn't expect was that this Menjian would be so bold and directly reject his request. He didn't expect this to be true. Feng Lixin couldn't help but look gloomy and said, Master Meng, do you know the consequences of rejecting me, Feng Lixin? Aren't you afraid that the entire City Lord's palace will be buried with you? Is this a threat from the Lord of the Wind Palace? Hear this. Menjian's face showed a bit of contempt instead. He didn't care at all about what was happening in front of him. She knows very well. Although Feng Lixin is a tyrannical guy, he is fierce in appearance and soft in heart. Today he just came to provoke him. Just rely on him alone. It is also impossible to pose any threat to the City Lord's mansion. As for Feng Lixin's power, it may be considered relatively powerful, but it has not reached the true Golden God realm. As long as you don't really break through this realm. Meng Yan and Mu Lao were able to fight against Feng Leitian with complete combat power. This is Menjian's current confidence. Jajija. From what you're saying, aren't you a little too confident? After hearing these words, Feng Lixin's face also became a little more curious, and he sneered directly, do you think that after being in seclusion for a few months, I am still in the realm of the little golden god? Say it. Menjian's face also became a little more solemn. In fact, she didn't need Feng Lixin to say much to know that a strong man like Feng Lixin would definitely achieve a breakthrough in strength after retreating. Just now. Even she didn't know how far Feng Lixin's strength had reached. Has it reached the point where she, or even the entire City Lord's mansion, is afraid? While she was thinking, Feng Lixin in front of him suddenly laughed ferociously, and the pale golden thunder and lightning in his hand gathered again, but this time the power of the thunder and lightning was far more pure and powerful than before. Thunder and lightning appear. Unexpectedly, it was able to condense into a golden ball of thunder and lightning in the meeting hall of the City Lord's mansion. The ball of light is spinning. There are also countless pure thunder and lightning energies blooming in it. Even though she was far away, Menjian could still feel the terrifying destructive power contained in it. Saw Feng Lixin's movements. Menjian did not dare to neglect, and quickly concentrated her energy, and a huge wall of snow-white ice and snow appeared. Shrouded in front of her. The way of ice and snow. This is the Taoyuan practiced by Meng Yan. The wall of ice and snow in front of her is the strongest defensive technique she has practiced. Even an ordinary strong person in the realm of the little golden god cannot break it at will. Use such a powerful defensive move right from the start. It is also enough to prove that Menjian still attached great importance to Feng Lixin in front of her. But seeing these people, Back off. While talking, Feng Lishan's face showed a bit of contempt. In one move, after being broken, a trace of blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. If these disciples from the city lord's mansion were allowed to get involved rashly, there would probably be considerable danger. It even caused the hard floor in the chamber to burst. Damn Feng Lishan, do you want to start a war with the entire city lord's mansion? While talking, master of the palace, the huge thunder directly bombarded Meng Yan's body. Even she has to be careful. The white lightning ball exuded a powerful aura of destruction, gradually approaching Meng Yan along the way. Then, it hit Meng Yan with endless wind noise. If they take the initiative to approach, isn't this just looking for death? Rescue the palace master. Meng Yan was actually injured. The giant wall of ice and snow was built by Meng Yan using the power of the avenue. He was very aware of the power of the giant white thunder in his hand. With such power, let alone these disciples of the blue god realm. However, since these disciples of the city lord's mansion are so anxious to die, let's see if they have the ability. The heavily armed disciples of the city lord's mansion came to Meng Yan. After feeling this powerful aura, all the disciples had vigilant and solemn expressions on their faces. Obviously they all attach great importance to Feng Lishan. The huge sound also attracted the attention of the disciples in the city lord's mansion. Soon, the giant white thunder in the wind and thunder sky is approaching again. All of a sudden, the faces of the city lord's mansion disciples present were also filled with nervousness and anger. The majestic power. One by one, the disciples rushed towards Meng Yan, trying to help her resist the next attack. But after feeling the power of the great Dao on Feng Lishan, Meng Yan's face became solemn. She who was the closest could feel that in the former's body, this powerful thunder and lightning power was not something ordinary people could resist. Feng Tian's white thunder was like an iron fist, instantly blasting away Meng Yan's ice and snow wall. Even Meng Yan in her prime couldn't resist. The power of ice and snow also caused Meng Yan to suffer a lot of backlash, and she fell to the ground in an instant. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1007. Meng Yan spurted out a mouthful of blood. The whole person took more than 10 steps back, and the aura on his body became much weaker instantly. It was obvious that he was seriously injured. It turned out that other disciples who saw the city lord's mansion were about to step forward. Meng Yan knew that these disciples were no match for Feng Lishan, so she quickly used the power of the avenue to stand in front of these disciples. He took another attack from Feng Lishan. This time, not just the disciples of the city lord's mansion. Even Feng Lishan was a little surprised and shocked. He came to the city lord's mansion this time not really to have a falling out with the city lord's mansion. Instead, he wanted to take advantage of the opportunity of improving his strength to get closer to Meng Yan. It would be best to cooperate with the city lord's mansion to fight against the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. After all, the person who killed the protector of Qinglai Palace was from the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, Feng Lishan's first target is naturally the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Who knows? Now it turned out to be self-defeating. I originally wanted to shock the city lord's palace, but instead accidentally injured Meng Yan. Isn't this equivalent to completely offending the other party? Now that things have come to this, I'm afraid it won't be that simple if I want to cooperate with the city lord's mansion in the future. Think of this. The wind, thunder, and the sky are full of evil. If we don't stop doing anything, why not kill Meng Yan completely today, so that the city lord's mansion will be in ruins? There will no longer be a threat to Qinglai Palace. While talking, the light golden lightning slowly condensed again and focused towards Meng Yan. Get up, protect the sect formation. The city lord's mansion is also a sect with a solid foundation. Among the sects, It was his luck that Feng Lixin could successfully attack Menyan just now. At this moment, the sect-protecting formation was slowly gathering. One after another, ice and snow lotus flowers appeared in the city lord's palace. The position of the lotus vaguely surrounded Feng Lixin. Obviously, this sect-protecting formation not only has the function of protection, but also has the function of strangulation and annihilation. Even those who fall into it will suffer losses if they fall into it. See here. Feng Lixin's face also became a little more dignified. He has not yet completely reached the Golden God realm. Facing the sect-protecting formation that the city lord's mansion has accumulated for many years, he naturally does not have much ability to resist. No one needs to say more. He also understood that if he stayed here, once he was controlled by the sect-protecting formation, even he would be in trouble. He did not dare to hesitate, and quickly put away the pale golden thunder in his palm, used his body skills, and retreated one after another, leaving the sect-protecting formation at the city lord's mansion. For such a situation, Menjian also breathed a sigh of relief. She knew that although the sect-protecting formation in the city lord's mansion was very powerful, it consumed a lot of power every time it was activated. Even if the power of the great avenue of all the disciples of the city lord's mansion is condensed, it can only be opened once. Therefore, if the city lord's palace was not in danger of annihilation, it would not be easy to activate the sect-protecting formation. Today, although Feng Lixin was scared away by relying on the sect-protecting formation. But one day in the future, if Feng Lixin's villain persists, he may come back again. At that time, the city lord's mansion will be even more dangerous without Menjian's protection. For this point, Menjian might have to prepare early. Master Meng Palace, how are you? This Feng Leitian deserves to die, we can't just let him go. We should unite with the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce to make the Qinglei Palace disappear in Wanglong City and let them know the majesty of our city lord's mansion. See Feng Lixin leaving. The disciples from the city lord's mansion also hurried over. All of them had anger on their faces. In response, Menjian looked serious and stopped these disciples from speaking. She knew that Feng Lixin was a person who was determined to retaliate against others. Now that we have arrived at the city lord's mansion today, then this matter will never let go. Future. If the city lord's mansion wants to keep the dragon city safe and sound, I'm afraid there is only one way, and that is to cooperate with the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. But, is Xiao Xian really trustworthy? No need to say it. I'm fine. Facing his disciples, Menjian shook her head. Although her face was still a little pale, she still got up and walked towards her bedroom. Sitting on the bed in the palace, Menjian slowly used the power of the avenue in her body to repair the damaged meridians. Through the battle just now, she could feel that Feng Lixin's giant thunder technique had reached its peak. Besides, what surprised her even more was Feng Lixin's understanding of thunder and lightning. As a person in the Little Golden God realm, she naturally knew that after reaching the Little Golden God realm, her understanding of the Great Dao had actually reached a bottleneck. Now I want to go further. Naturally it is extremely difficult. But just now, through the battle, she clearly felt that Feng Lixin's understanding of the avenue was indeed much more sophisticated than before. This really made her a little unbelievable. But I don't know why. At this moment, she suddenly thought of someone, Xiao Xian. Somehow, she seemed to feel that Xiao Xian could help her solve this doubt. For this, since the city lord's mansion and Wanjin Chamber of Commerce have cooperated, it is indeed not a good thing to be so powerful. In fact, some people within the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce are somewhat dissatisfied. However, when the senior officials saw Zhang Fulong's appearance, their faces became more solemn. In Wanglong City. For these words, Menjian had no reason not to tell Mu Lao about the offering. They all think so. Everyone talks about it. On that note, Look at the way he looks. How could it possibly have helped her? Only. After all, no matter how talented Xiaoxian is, he is only a second star in the Blue God realm, and has not even touched the great path of the Golden God realm. Now that a powerful person in the pseudo-Golden God realm has appeared, this is a very threatening thing for all sects. As for the battle between the Qinglai Palace and the City Lord's Mansion, the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce can still watch the fight between tigers, and even benefit from it. In Wanlong City, Feng Lixin has always been a relatively big trouble to the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Inside the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, she still had to find a way to tell Mu Lao about everything that happened today. Obviously, Zhang Fulong will not betray Xiaoxian easily. After learning the news about Menjian, isn't this a good way to solve the problem? If Xiaoxian could be handed over and Feng Lixin's anger could be calmed, wouldn't everyone be happy? Thus, from today on, how should we deal with Feng Lixin? After a while, in the meeting hall, Zhang Fulong looked around and asked directly, our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will both prosper and suffer. If Feng Lixin comes to retaliate, we should deal with it together. The cause of this troublesome matter is Xiaoxian. If Xiaoxian had not taken the initiative to kill Lei Wan, Qinglai Palace would not be so hostile to Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, let alone have any hostility towards their Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. They all cast dissatisfied looks at Xiaoxian. The senior officials of the Chamber of Commerce also fell into silence, and for a while, the atmosphere became a little solid. This time I came out of retreat. She also shook her head and gave up this strange idea. Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is still the largest sect in Wanlong City. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1008. In fact, Zhang Fulong is not a fool. As the young master of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, he naturally has a good understanding of the situation of the people within the Chamber of Commerce. After a brief glance, he roughly understood the thoughts of most of the senior officials in the Chamber of Commerce. As the young master of the Chamber of Commerce, he naturally understands that from the perspective of the overall interests of the Chamber of Commerce. Hand over Xiaoxian. If the safety of the entire Chamber of Commerce can be guaranteed, there is no doubt that this is a very good deal. But, in his heart, he would not choose to do this. If Xiaoxian hadn't taken action at that time, Wanjin Chamber of Commerce would not have obtained the Purple Spirit Mine, and it would not have brought such great benefits to Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Let me ask you, if you abandon Xiaoxian directly now, who else will be willing to help Wanjin Chamber of Commerce in the future? I'll say it again. Xiaoxian is the second in command of our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. From now on, our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will not abandon him no matter what. All we want to think about is how to deal with the next Qinglai Palace, that's all. What Zhang Fulong said was categorical. It looked like there was no room for negotiation at all. This actually made the people in the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce a little silent. In fact, they themselves knew very well that Xiaoxian did bring a lot of benefits to the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. We can even say, without Xiaoxian, Wanjin Chamber of Commerce would not have obtained the Purple Qi Spirit Mine, and would have been at a disadvantage in the battle with the City Lord's Mansion and Qinglai Palace. Now we have Zhang Fulong's words. They all also understood that Zhang Fulong had obviously made up his mind to protect Xiaoxian. In this case, the things they need to think about are actually much simpler. All you need to think about is how to deal with Feng Lixin's revenge. Actually, I think Qinglai Palace is not that scary. An elder from the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce stood up and said, although Qinglai Palace has the support of Qinglai Palace, now Qinglai Palace has not expressed its attitude to help Qinglai Palace. This is also a good thing for us. As for Feng Lixin's strength, since he has not yet become a master of the Golden God realm, he is not a big threat to our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Yes, we still have a Chamber of Commerce background. If it doesn't work, we will look for chambers of commerce in several other regions. At worst, we will sacrifice some interests and seek their help. Heilong Chamber of Commerce, Qingri Chamber of Commerce, Mengchen Chamber of Commerce, they all have good relations with our Chamber of Commerce. It's just a storm, it's not something we can't handle. Wanjin Chamber of Commerce also has good foundation. Although there was initial skepticism, the Chamber of Commerce soon became entwined. For this change, Zhang Fulong is still very willing to see it. On the other hand, others may not care too much, but anyone with a discerning eye can see that Zhang Fulong is still very happy. Mu Lozong also nodded slightly. At any time, as long as there is internal unity, there is nothing that cannot be faced. Finally, he also set his sights on Xiaoxian, wanting to see what he could say. He believes Xiaoxian is definitely not a reckless person. He even felt that when Xiaoxian killed Lei Wan, he had already considered what to do next. More importantly, Mu Lao Chongfang felt a mysterious feeling on Xiaoxian's body, as if there was something hidden in his body. This was really something that made him confused and curious. In fact, it has been so long. Malao Chongfeng also observed Xiaoxian carefully, but what made him helpless was that even if he tried hard, he didn't get much information in the end. On that note, he was a little curious about Xiaoxian's identity and even the origin of Xiaoxian's skills. Please rest assured. The matter in Qinglei Palace was done by me alone, and the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will not be involved. Xiaoxian smiled slightly. If the Qinglei Palace comes to provoke me, everyone can put all the blame on me and let Feng Lixin find me. Say it. It can be regarded as one stone causing thousands of waves. Several disciples had a little surprise on their faces. Some people even looked at Xiaoxian with doubtful eyes, wondering if he was crazy. Anyway, the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is considered a prestigious sect in Wanlong City. If Xiaoxian could be in such a sect, no matter what, Feng Lixin would be afraid of the sect and would not go too far. But if Xiaoxian takes the initiative to withdraw from the sect, that's different. If Feng Lixin knew about it, wouldn't he kill him secretly? How could Zhang Fulong agree to such a thing? Think of this. Several Wanjin Chamber of Commerce elders also looked at each other. He looked at Xiaoxian doubtfully again. Even Zhang Fulong was a little puzzled and comforted. Brother Xiaoxian, you don't have to be like this. You have been of great help to our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. We, the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, are not ungrateful people. No need. Killing Lei Wan is my own business. There is no need to involve the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Xiaoxian shook his head. His face was still calm and calm. It seemed that he didn't take this matter to heart at all. This really surprised the people around him, and even Malao Zongfeng was a little confused. Logically speaking, although Xiaoxian has some strength, he is only a 2-star in the Kang God realm. Perhaps, when facing a 3-star, 4-star, or even a 5-star powerhouse in the Kang God realm, he still has the strength to fight. But if it was Feng Lixin who was in the pseudo-golden God realm, even Meng Yan, a strong person in the little golden God realm of the city lord's mansion, suffered from Feng Lixin. How could Xiaoxian be able to defeat this guy? Brother Xiaoxian, you. So to say, Brother Xiaoxian really has his own means of dealing with Feng Lixin. There was a little more approval in Mu Lao's eyes. I am willing to believe that, after all, little friend Xiaoxian is indeed a person who can create miracles. With these words, some people in the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce also had serious expressions on their faces. Looking at Xiaoxian was like looking at another monster. After all, within the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, Malao Zongfeng is a man of his word, and what he says is naturally very important. Even he recognized Xiaoxian so much. That is enough to prove that Xiaoxian is indeed a very talented person. Moreover, Malao Zone also specifically mentioned the word miracle. This is not a compliment that ordinary disciples can get. To know. In Wanlong City back then, Mu Lao was also a talented disciple of Junyan and created countless miracles. Be able to get his approval. This is enough to prove that Xiao Xian is indeed a very powerful person. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1009. With Xiao Xian and Mu Lao's words of worship. Although Zhang Fulong was a little uneasy, in the end, he chose to believe the two of them and stopped mentioning Feng Lishan. Instead, he started arranging the auction. Because of the bad relationship with King Glei Palace. This time, there were more things to prepare for the auction than before. Zhang Fulong even contacted several powerful mercenary groups. Among them, there are even powerful people in the Little Golden God realm. After the proceedings, Zhang Fulong drove away all the elders and told Xiao Xian the news that he had found Wolong grass. Hear the news. Xiao Xian suddenly became a little more excited. According to the introduction of the system, if he has crouching dragon grass, he can upgrade the realm of soul to the intermediate level of reality. In this way, he would have the opportunity to improve his soul fighting skills. The power of the colorful spear can also be further enhanced. Since becoming the second star of the Kengshen realm, Xiao Xian's most powerful Taoist skills are the half-celestial sword and the colorful spear. These two combat skills. One is a real heaven-level Taoist technique, and the other is the soul-fighting technique of ancient monsters. The power is extremely powerful. To affect the power of these two combat skills, one needs to upgrade the realm, and the other needs to upgrade the soul. Realm improvement is a gradual thing. Now, there is the threat of Feng Lishan. If Xiao Xian wants to quickly improve his strength, the only way is to find crouching dragon grass by himself. Wolong grass. Great, how many Dao stones? Xiao Xian was very excited. When he was a professor at Qinghua College, he also earned a lot of Dao stones, plus a share of the purple spirit mine. Now he can be regarded as a rich man with a lot of money. If you want to buy Wolong grass, it shouldn't be a problem. This is the spiritual grass of the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce. The reason why they took out the Wolong grass was not to earn Dao stones, but just to find someone to do something. Zhang Fulong said in embarrassment, they are looking for a guard who is under the 5 stars of the Blue God realm. Guard. A caravan guard. Xiao Xian was stunned. Intuitively, he felt that the protection of the caravan was not that simple this time. He knew the status of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Not only in Wanlong City, but also in several nearby regions, their status was relatively transcendent. This so-called Bluestone Chamber of Commerce. Since they can do business with Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, their strength must not be weak. With such strength, there is also a spiritual grass treasure of the level of crouching dragon grass. It shouldn't be impossible to find a suitable guard. Why should I use crouching dragon grass as a reward to find a guard? This shows that this escort mission is extremely dangerous. Even the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce is looking for help. So, I want you to meet. If it doesn't work out, just be aggrieved and become a guard for once, so that you can get the crouching dragon grass naturally. Didn't help Xiao Xian get Wolong grass. Zhang Fulong seemed a little guilty. However, Xiao Xian was very calm and didn't seem to care about these things. He just nodded and said, "Thank you very much. I'll take a look then." This time, Zhang Fulong and Mu Lo Kongfeng looked at each other instead, with a solemn look in their eyes. This made Xiao Xian feel a little strange. To know. Both of them are experienced and well-informed leaders of the Chamber of Commerce. After having such an experience, Naturally, you have broad vision and detached thoughts. Why are you so solemn today? Are you still worried about Feng Lishan? Think of this. Xiao Xian also shook his head and said, there is no need to be like this. Although Feng Lishan is ruthless, I also have a way to deal with it. With the passage of time. He also has the strongest trump card. Therefore, he may not be afraid of these people. However, Mu Lozong shook his head and said, little friend Xiao Xian, we are not worried about Feng Lishan, but we are worried about the escort mission of the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce this time. This time. Xiao Xian was also a little confused. Isn't the Qingxi Chamber of Commerce just a chamber of commerce? Is it possible that they can be more dangerous than Feng Lishan, who is about to reach the Golden God realm? Brother Xiao Xian. Maybe you don't know the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce. In the entire vicinity of Wanglong City, and even in Donghuang Zhu, the Qingxi Chamber of Commerce is a relatively unique chamber of commerce. They not only undertake the tasks of ordinary chambers of commerce such as protecting goods, auctioning goods, and forging weapons, but they also undertake secret exploration tasks. This time, they are protecting the princess of a dynasty and going to a secret realm. Zhang Fulong said, because the secret realm restricts the entry of cultivators below 5 stars in the Blue God realm, so they will look for top experts below 5 stars in the Blue God realm. Hear this. Xiao Xian nodded slightly. If so, it sounds interesting. Secret realm. Because he has spiritual eyes. He is very interested in places like the secret realm. Basically, as long as he goes there, he can get the treasures in the secret realm. Moreover, it is still the most precious treasure. What if he was asked to follow the people from the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce to protect the princess and go to the secret realm to get the treasure? How to count this treasure? Princess Jin Qing of the Jinyu dynasty said that as long as she is strong enough, if she can accompany her to the secret realm, the treasures in the secret realm can be taken at will, Zhang Fulong added. Sounds good. However, according to this situation, this secret realm should be very dangerous, right? Xiao Xian frowned slightly. I don't believe that there is such a thing as a pie in the world. In this regard. Zhang Fulong also nodded and continued, this place is called the Golden and Iron Secret Realm. Then, Zhang Fulong also introduced the situation of this secret realm. It turns out that this place is a secret realm dedicated to weapons. In rumors, the person who created this secret realm is a blacksmith in the Golden God realm. In the secret realm, there is a substance that can strengthen weapons. As long as this substance is obtained, divine weapons below the heaven level can be upgraded to a higher level. The Jinyu dynasty is a dynasty that specializes in making weapons. In the dynasty, almost all practitioners are weapon makers. As the most famous weapon-making disciple in the Jinyu dynasty, Jin Qing has superb skills and extraordinary talents. Take out the Wolong grass. She just hopes to find strong men in the Kengshen realm from the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce to help her find that strengthening substance. After hearing Zhang Fulong tell these things in detail, Xiao Xian was a little puzzled. He didn't quite understand, and at the same time he was a little curious and wanted to see what this substance was. How could he have such a magical ability? Good. I think we can take Langtu with us, which is a bit of a guarantee. Xiao Xian thought for a moment and said, Langtu's strength seems to be just at the threshold to enter the Bluestone Chamber of Commerce. Wolfroad. Zhang Fulong and Mu Lao were stunned for a moment, but they nodded, indicating that they recognized Xiao Xian's suggestion. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1010. Fair enough. Langtu used to be the leader of the Blood Wolf mercenary group, and he has quite a lot of combat experience. If you have him by your side, it will also be a help. Zhang Fulong nodded. To him, Xiao Xian was already the second in command of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. So naturally we don't want the latter to be in any danger. Nonetheless, be very careful. It is said that once in the secret realm, a powerful person who cultivated the refined iron method appeared and killed many 5 stars of the blue god realm. Mu Lao worshipped with a serious face. Say it. Xiao Xian also frowned slightly. He still respects Malao Zongzong, after all, the latter is a strong man in the little golden god realm. Even Mu Lao worships the secret realm with such importance. It can explain. There must be danger in the secret realm. How about I arrange for a few more people to follow you into the secret realm? This might be more secure, Zhang Fulong said after thinking for a while. No need. The auction is coming soon and the Chamber of Commerce is short of manpower. Don't waste manpower on me personally. Xiao Xian shook his head. He could understand that Zhang Fulong had good intentions when he said this. However, according to what he said before, the protagonist of this trip to the secret realm is Jin Qing, the princess of the Jinyu dynasty. They are just auxiliary guards. In this case, naturally, there was no need for him to bring too many people with him. On the contrary, it is better to keep a low profile in the secret realm team this time. As long as it is not too arrogant and there is Wolf 2 by your side, there shouldn't be much danger. Xiao Xian thought secretly. I have an appointment with the princess of the Jinyu dynasty tomorrow, so tomorrow, brother Xiao Xian, how about you follow me to the Jinyu dynasty, Zhang Fulong asked. Good. No problem. Xiao Xian nodded and then left. In the room, Xiao Xian also calmed down and began to think carefully about what happened recently. Langtu returns, King Hua Empire successfully suppresses the rebellion, Lei Wan is killed, Feng Lishan comes out of seclusion, etc. These things happen. He could also feel that there seemed to be some vague connections between these things. One of the most important clues is spiritual energy revived. If there is no revival of spiritual energy, let alone Wanglong City, even the entire cultivation world will be lifeless. But as this happened, in the world of cultivation, chaotic things happened one after another. This also shows that, in the near future, some dangers may occur in the entire Eastern Barren continent and even the entire Dao continent. For this kind of thing, he still needs to deal with it carefully. In this case, it is urgent to enhance our strength, Xiao Xian said secretly. At the same time, in a flash, he also communicated with the system. Is the system brother here? Can you, old man, tell me what is going on with this spiritual energy recovery? In fact, it is in Xiao Xian's heart. There are also many doubts about the recovery of spiritual energy. According to the descriptions of some indigenous residents on the Dao continent, there have not been many powerful people in the Golden God realm in the Dao continent for hundreds of years. However, since he came to this continent, all kinds of strong men emerge in endlessly. Even in a mere Qinglei Hall, there will be strong men in the pseudo-Golden God realm. The reason for this is a bit intriguing. Xiao Xian can understand. These cultivators who have been stuck in a certain realm for many years are not actually poor in talent, they just lack an opportunity. As long as there is an opportunity, naturally there is hope for a breakthrough. Just like Feng Lishan, it is said that he has been stuck in the little Golden God realm for a long time and has never found an opportunity to break through. After this retreat, the successful breakthrough was probably due to the opportunity of spiritual energy recovery. However, since Liang Feng and Lei Tian could use this opportunity to break through, then couldn't he, a creation spirit, also use it? Xiao Xian thought to himself. System prompt: the spiritual energy recovery is a grand event in the entire Dao continent. Any disciple can use the spiritual energy recovery to improve his strength. It is normal for the host to just come to the Dao continent and not be able to enjoy luck. Originally, Xiao Xian was relatively calm. When KK heard the system's last words, his face was filled with question marks. This is crazy. What's going on? He came all the way to the Great Dao continent. He originally thought that he could take advantage of the spiritual energy recovery to take a further step in his strength. But now, according to the system, he couldn't take advantage of this opportunity to take a step further? Are you sure this isn't a joke? To know. Although he is the spirit of creation and has strong protection from the force, it is not that simple to practice on the Great Dao continent. He was even a little dissatisfied with his current cultivation speed. However, this idea. That is just thinking about it in Xiao Xian's heart. If others were to know that Xiao Xian had this idea in his heart, they would be so angry that they would vomit blood. If nothing else. Just relying on Xiao Xian's current cultivation speed. After he just arrived on the Dao continent, he was just an ordinary realm of Dao power. This was just less than a year. He has already become a powerful person in the Kengshen realm. Although, among them, Xiao Xian did get a lot of conveniences in secret realms and treasure hunting. But with such an achievement, in any sect, one would be considered a genius-level disciple. But he is still not satisfied. Is it possible that he will reach the sky in one step and become the strongest person on this continent? Isn't this a bit unbelievable? Let's talk about it. Xiao Xian also understood in his heart that his current achievements were actually quite good. But just rely on these. He wanted to lift the catastrophe of 2 continents, but it was not enough. This trip to the secret realm of the Golden Realm. The host can try to find an opportunity to advance the Tianlang sword again, so that the Tiankong sword technique can exert its maximum power. The system prompted. Hearing this, Xiao Xian's face was a little surprised. He really didn't expect that the system even knew about Tiankong Jian, which really surprised him. At that time, I got half of the Tiankong sword. Xiao Xian didn't spend too much time on it. He just used the force in his body to improve his understanding of swordsmanship. Did not expect. In the end, even the system valued this technique so much. This made Xiao Xian more curious and doubtful. He knows. The system has a very high vision, and he didn't even pay attention to the previous Xian level and Earth level spiritual treasures. Now, he can attach so much importance to the heaven level Taoist art Tiankong sword. But it also explains. This Tiankong Jian is indeed extraordinary. It's a pity that he only found half of the celestial sword from Lingyuan section. If he could find a whole piece, his strength should be improved a lot.